complete meltdown because she discovers that the soup is homemade and not from a tin.
Well, there's a reason it's called the Terrible Twos.
Toby, there you are. I have been looking for you for an hour and a half. Did you forget that we had a deadline today?
I emailed you my sections
You
before I left
emailed me.
for lunch.
You emailed me. Yes, you emailed me your sections, which were littered with errors.
If you spotted some typos in what I sent, then I apologize. I can assure you I checked it through, but I guess
You were just keen to get off on your lunch.
Jan, that's not fair.
I had to work through my lunch hour fixing your mistakes. But don't worry, I still hit the deadline.
And I'm sorry that you had to do
It's
that.
too late for apologies, Toby. Next time, you check your work thoroughly before you submit it to me. You cannot just rely on spell check. You really let the team down today. Okay, maybe I overreacted. Maybe I shouldn't have talked to Toby like that in front of Deanna, but I had a really terrible day yesterday trying to hit that deadline. And my computer crashed halfway through the submission process, meaning I lost some of the work. And then Toby's sections was littered with all these little errors which really irritated me. I mean, he should have checked his work over before submitting it to me. And he shouldn't have just left the office without checking with me that it was good to go. I mean, seeing him come back from lunch all jolly like that, it hit a nerve. Okay, I know it wasn't emotionally intelligent of me to fly off the handle like that, but we're not all perfect, are we?
Jan really made me feel angry. I hate it when she talks to me like that, especially in front of colleagues. I felt humiliated, embarrassed. It's not the first time I felt like shouting at her, but whenever I feel my emotions taking over, I give myself some time to think before acting. I know that having it out with her in public would only reflect badly on me. I do want her to know how I feel, but I think I need to find a time when she's willing to listen.
Hey, is everything okay? You seem a bit down.
Oh, no, I'm okay. I'm just glad to be heading home.
I imagine you're still feeling a little raw after your run-in with Jan earlier? For what it's worth, I thought you handled the situation well. I mean, I felt sorry for you. She shouldn't have spoken to you like that in front of me, or anyone for that matter.
She overreacted, and that made me angry. I hate it when she talks to me like that. But I did look over the sections that I sent her, and there were some typos and grammatical errors. Jan had every reason to be annoyed, even though she overreacted. I'm just mad at myself for not spotting the mistakes before I sent them across to her, especially after I came in early this morning to meet the deadline.
Well, over lunch you said that you were tired, that Clara's been keeping you awake at night?
No excuse for sloppy work, though, is it?
Well, maybe not, but if someone else was in your position, wouldn't you look on them sympathetically? I mean, we all make mistakes when we're tired.
I just don't want people to think I don't care, you know?
Well, the fact that you feel that way demonstrates to me that you do care. That we all make mistakes from time to time. It's inevitable when we work under so much pressure. Jan was also feeling the pressure today, which is why she snapped at you. I mean, I'm sure tomorrow things won't seem like such a big deal to anyone. All right, well, I'll catch you tomorrow.
Thanks, Deanna. I wanted to apologize. About the typos, I should have spotted and corrected the mistakes before emailing the sections to you.
Okay, and maybe I owe you an apology too. I know I overreacted.
When you spoke to me in front of Deanna yesterday, it made me feel really small. I felt like I was being told off. I know you may have been feeling stressed and frustrated, but I would ask that if we need to talk about my work, that we do so in private. It may not have been your intention to make me feel humiliated or small, but I know how I felt at the time.
I am genuinely sorry if you felt bad. You're right, that was not my intention. But as your manager, I do need to give you feedback on your work from time to time.
I understand that. I would just ask that in future, if you'd like to talk about work, that we do it in private and not in front of other people.
Okay, that's fine.
And I'd ask that you give me a chance to respond to what you're saying, rather than speaking over me.
Okay, that's fair enough. And I hope you understand that yesterday I was under a lot of pressure and I was really stressed. When I found out that you had gone to lunch, I felt let down.
I don't think you know this, but yesterday I came in really early to make sure we met the deadline on time. I hadn't had a break all morning.
No, I didn't know that. I'm sorry. I didn't acknowledge all the hard work you have put in. I only focused on the mistakes. I didn't feel comfortable meeting with Toby today, but I'm glad we cleared the air. And I have been reflecting on the things that he asked of me, the giving feedback in private and listening to his point of view. Ultimately, both very reasonable requests, which will make me a better manager.